Do you believe in reincarnation? Do you know anyone that has been reincarnated? The correct answer may surprise you. If you think you don't know anyone that has claimed to have been reincarnated, you are most likely wrong. Because unless you have never heard about Dalai Lama, you at least know one person who is known to the world as the reincarnation of the last Dalai Lama. Known as His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, he is the spiritual leader of the Yellow School of Tibetan Buddhism, which was created in 1578. Tenzin Gyatso is the 14th reincarnation of Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama is respected by most and loved by many. Knowing him does not mean believing in reincarnation, but you can't deny the fact that his legacy was built on a belief in reincarnation. The Tibetans believe that the soul passes 3 stages after death. The first stage, Chikai Bardo, is the stage to clear light of reality. Then the second stage, Chanyed Bardo, is where the soul sees different Buddha forms. The third stage, Sidpa Bardo, is when the soul is reborn. Tibetans believe that karmas decide ordinary people's reincarnation, but supremely enlightened beings like Dalai Lama would consciously transform their consciousness at the time of death into one of the Buddha forms, thus avoiding reincarnating by choice and preserving their wisdom and spirituality. In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the unique Tibetan idea that a person is not immediately reincarnated after death, Bardo, marks an intermediary period when the soul is going through the 3 stages described earlier. Through the help of Nichung Oracle, the official seer of Tibet, and instructions left by the late Dalai Lama, a committee of high monks would look for signs to search for the reincarnated Lama. Usually a new Lama will be named 2 to 3 years after the death of the last Dalai. When the new Lama is found, 3 of the last Lama's articles will be placed in front of the child. The child must pick the correct one and then be confirmed by 3 servants of the last Dalai Lama before being announced as the next. So let's compare the current Dalai Lama's picture with the 13th Dalai. Do you see the resemblance? How about the 9th Panchen Lama and the 10th one? Panchen Lama is the 2nd highest spiritual leader in Tibet and followed the same reincarnation procedure. Even though it is hard to tell in these pictures, I think you probably will agree that there is no striking resemblance between the 2 spiritual leaders and the reincarnated prior selves. However, most people who believe in reincarnation are more interested in reincarnation stories, like that of Jennifer Lawrence and the Egyptian actress Zubaydah Tharwat, like Conan O'Brien and the Civil War-era Republican State Senator Marshall Harvey Twitchell. Of course, some pictures look so unreal that we must question if they were photoshopped, like this Egyptian statue and Michael Jackson. But I have to admit, reincarnation stories attract a lot of attention, because if reincarnation is for real, none of us will ever die. But think of it this way. If we retain no memory of our past lives, what good does it do us? It's like being given a chance to play in a video game every time you restart a game, only you are one of the bad guys killed. You are not the player who retains the memory and identity. We can't revenge the injustice from our previous lives. We can't continue the unfinished love. In that way, reincarnation is like our souls being used like recycled material, right? But after reading so many reincarnation stories, I have to say that I believe a few souls not only have reincarnated, but also retain some memory of their past lives, while some other souls, even with no prior memories, do look or act like their former selves. While watching the news today, a thought came to my mind. What if history is repeating itself? I thought I was seeing the reply of a 500-year-old history book. A charismatic leader accomplished things that were absolutely impossible. His personality and behavior is so much like someone we all know. if he is really the reincarnation of who I think he was, can we predict the future based on the history books? Let me start by seeing if you can figure out who I have in mind by revealing some characteristics. Number 1, there was a leader who wanted everything to go his way. Number 2, very intelligent, loves sports, and is a pretty good singer. Number 3, knows how to use people. Number 4, willing to go nuclear when things don't go his way. And 5, no matter what he does, he seemed to still have the love and support of many. Leaders almost always want things to go their way, but only a few would go nuclear at any cost. Who moved heaven and earth just to get his way? How about Henry VIII? Henry VIII had 6 wives. It goes like this: divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. When the Pope refused to annul his marriage with Catherine of Aragon, he went nuclear and changed England's religion from Catholicism to Protestantism overnight. Guess what? He still had his people's support. When he cut off his queen's head twice, he still had his people's support. He can shoot someone in the middle of New York's Fifth Avenue. Guess what? He probably can still win the election. Henry VIII was brave to use people, and he never seemed to be short of people with talent and skills. And when he did not need them, or he grew tired of them, he had no problem getting rid of them. He was bold and unpredictable. He could be charming and rude. His moves changed not only England, but the whole world. So I think President Trump may well be the reincarnation of Henry VIII. He resembles the famous king more in personality and his life's path than the looks, although I can't deny some resemblance between him and the king. You may point out that, unlike the famous Henry, Trump has had many children. However, who do you think will take the baton from him one day? I think it will be Ivanka Trump. Ivanka may be full of controversy, but so is Trump. That doesn't bother people much. I bet she will continue playing a part in American politics even after Trump's presidency. Does Ivanka look like Queen Elizabeth I? Remember, we are not looking for an exact replica, but someone with the same spirit and desire. Someone who wants to follow the father's footsteps. Now, let me ask you, who do you think Donald Trump trusts the most? If you ask me, I will say Jared Kushner. I think Donald sees himself in Jared while Jared wants to be just like Trump. That led me to think of someone who wanted to be just like his father, Henry VIII. Prince Edward was the answer to Henry VIII's prayers, and King Edward VI wanted to be just like his father. Do you think Jared looks like King Edward? I think there is a strong resemblance despite the age difference shown in these two pictures. King Edward was intelligent way beyond his years. He ordered the execution of his maternal uncle without any emotion nor hesitation. I don't know much about Jared, but I think soon we will know much more. I know bringing up President Trump is probably a suicidal move. Picking the reincarnation topic probably already angers many. Now, linking Henry VIII with Trump may give pro-Trump and anti-Trump groups reasons to hate this video. However, this video is not political. It was not made to promote the concept of reincarnation or denounce it. It is to show you some interesting points that you might have missed. So what do you think will happen if President Trump is the reincarnated Henry VIII? I know he will not divorce nor dispose of Melania. She is definitely a keeper. There is a theory that people with past life connections tend to stick together in the new lives. So, let's see if Melania bears any resemblance to any of Henry VIII's 6 wives. Let's start with the picture of the 3 Catherines. The Spanish Princess Catherine of Aragon is wife number 1. Then Catherine Howard was wife number 5, followed by Catherine Parr's wife number 6. And there are 2 Annes, wife number 2, Anne Boleyn, and wife number 4, Anne of Cleves, and finally the number 3, Jane Seymour. I have to say Melania is much prettier than these Tudor queens. However, I did find one queen during that time with more of a resemblance to Melania. Who do you think she is? Actually, she is Henry VIII's sister, Mary Tudor, once Queen of France. And I also found a great match from this portrait. Although the relationship between Henry VIII and wife number 4, Anne of Cleves, improved greatly after the divorce, Henry VIII once called her smell bad and that she looked like a horse. That led me to look for a Lady Donald Trump called pig, crude, rude, obnoxious, and dumb. Yeah, I mean Rosie O'Donnell. I think Anne looked classy and sweet, and Rosie's cute. And look at the resemblance. Of course, how can we complete this photo lineup analysis without finding Baron Trump? After some careful research, I think I've found him. Don't they look exactly the same? And the boy in the portrait is one with royal Tudor blood. Charles Stuart, the uncle of the future James I of England. Now, do you think President Trump is the reincarnation of Henry VIII? If you're still not convinced, did you know Henry VIII was 6 foot 2 inches in height? And so is Donald. This is Ken Peters. Thank you for watching.